Hello, welcome to the 8th and final tutorial mission of Nebulous Fleet Command. Today's lesson is going to be defeating missiles, and I suspect that we'll be learning about the different types of anti-missile systems and other ways to avoid incoming missile fire. And this seems quite important because I know that the game went through a phase where missile swarms were just the thing. And I also understand that there was recently a missile update that put in some more capable missiles as well. So today, looks like we're getting a cruiser. It says it's a heavy cruiser right here. Got some cannons, got, I guess, PDT is a point defense turret. We got two different types of point defense turrets. We have also some missile launchers of our own. Okay, this is just telling us that we're going to be learning how to deal with incoming missile threats. And this is, I think, our first real defensive...
Alright, Commander. Now it's time to turn the tables. We've been on the giving end for all of these lessons so far, but if you don't know how to defend your fleet, you might as well not be in command.
What I was about to say was that we've the only defensive system that we've really learned so far is jamming. I don't think we have a jammer, do we? Okay, we have active decoys, but we don't have jammers. Alright. And as they've been saying, we've been the ones doing the shooting. And finally, actually we saw it last mission, but we finally have a green circle.
Defending against anti-ship missiles is a complex topic, and I can't possibly cover everything in the course of this lesson. But at the very least, I'll get you started.
Okay.
I've placed 3 markers for the course we'll travel along for this to work best. Go ahead and set waypoint course from Atlas, where we are now, to Boxer and Comet. If you reach the end at any point, just plot a new path in the reverse order.
Okay. So alright.
I've also disabled your offensive weapons, so you don't accidentally, or on purpose, destroy the shooter or spotter ships I'll be controlling, as well as a few other systems that we'll unlock as we go over them.
Me shoot at the spotter ship or enemy? That seems...
And don't worry,
like
everything I'm going to fire
else.
at you are inert training missiles, with no warhead.
Boo.
Let's begin.
Let them damage me.
It might seem ridiculous to say, but a lot of people don't consider that the best way to defend against missiles is to simply not be where the enemy has fired them at.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The ship I'll be firing from is about 17 kilometers away. With the speeds these missiles travel at, it'll take them about 75 seconds to reach their acquisition range.
I'm guessing that's the spotter.
When a missile is fired at a track, the target's last known position and velocity are programmed into the missile immediately before launch, so it can figure out how to lead the target.
Okay.
The good news is that 75 seconds is a lot of time for us to not be where the missile thinks we're going to be when it starts its search.
Yeah.
When we talk about ASMD, we group defensive measures into 2 categories, soft kill and hard kill.
Soft kill would be decoy, hard kill would be shooting it down.
We'll talk about soft kill first, as it pairs very well with the evasive maneuvers we'll do for this first salvo.
Okay.
The rightmost set of buttons on the ship information bar controls your point defense doctrine.
Alright. Least is the lowest capable, best, the highest capable for a threat. Even if a lower capability could have been used. And auto is, it will determine on its own.
The decoy button controls when the point defense controller will automatically fire decoys. If you set it to manual, you will need to fire the decoys yourself via the action menu.
Okay, and so that way you can make it so that you don't just go firing decoys all the time.
It's best to leave this one on one of the other 3 options. The least option will use the decoy with the lowest capability necessary to defeat the threat. Best will always use the highest capability. Auto will fire all necessary decoys.
Okay.
The type of decoy necessary for the threat can only be determined if we have sufficient intelligence on the missile, which can be developed rapidly by the ES-32 Scryer module, which this ship is carrying. If we don't have this information, one of every type of our onboard decoys will be fired.
And we finally get intel on our ships. That's probably because this has a scryer. So without the scryer, you don't get intel on the target. Okay.
The decoys we have available on the ship are the EA-12 Chaff decoy and the EA-99 Conure active decoy.
Alright.
Chaff decoys are an expanding cloud of reflective metal strips, which create a much larger radar return than the ship that launched them. This presents a more appealing target to the missile, and will hopefully draw it off, a tactic called seduction. Active decoys radiate their own energy and can mimic the signature of the launching ship, making them useful against more advanced missiles, which are also looking for the ship's radar emissions.
Alright. So, some missiles have an authenticator.
Now, we're going to use evasive maneuvers in conjunction with these decoys to totally avoid the first salvo.
Alright.
In fact, I'm so confident you'll be able to do it that I've totally disabled all our other point defenses.
Oh, gee, thank you.
I'm going to launch the first salvo now. When you detect the missiles, change course at least 90 degrees, but preferably more like 120 degrees, away from your current direction of travel.
So, like there.
Don't do it preemptively, or the missiles will adjust their lead based on your new velocity vector. Wait until you detect them on radar.
Alright.
Alright, the first salvo is on its way. After you issue the order to change course, raise the throttle to flank speed to get that extra emergency thruster power. As your course change begins to take effect, dump a chaff decoy, or 3, with Shift Z to give the missile something to focus on while we make our escape. Manually firing decoys will fire one of each available passive decoy type. Active decoys will not be fired as they require a target to know how to fly away from the ship. If you want to fire an active decoy, right-click on one of the missile tracks and use the DCY button at the top of the action menu. The button will be highlighted in yellow to show you it will be for a specific threat rather than a generic decoy order.
Alright, we got the decoys off. And I'm guessing that's chaff.
Missile on the scope.
Yeah. So,
Course laid in.
that way. And it looks like, yeah, I think we're completely missed. Some of them decoyed onto the chaff. Oh, that one got me.
Nicely done, Commander.
No, that one got me. You're lying.
Go ahead and get us back on course for either Point Atlas or Comet, and we'll continue. Don't forget to come back down from flank speed.
Aye, aye, full burn.
Alright.
Evasive maneuvers can do a lot for you when it comes to avoiding missiles fired at long range. If you do them right, you won't even need to fire in defense.
I probably should have turned toward... Yeah.
But unfortunately, some more advanced missiles can follow your course changes, like the next salvo I've just launched.
Alright, thank you for
Standing
that.
by.
While we wait, this is a great time to talk about hard kill. Many missile threats simply can't be avoided by evasive maneuvers. The missiles that are on their way now have a command mid-course guidance configuration, so they will
Alright.
follow any course changes we make. For this, we'll need to rely on a combination of soft and hard kill techniques.
Alright,
You can change course if you want, and watch them follow us.
I shall do so.
Deploying chaff is always a good idea. It's cheap and plentiful, and it may save your life. But it usually won't draw every missile away, so we'll need to deal with the remaining missiles somehow.
Course laid in.
The simplest of the hard kill methods is point defense turrets. This ship is equipped with 3 Mark 20 Defender 20mm autocannons and 2 Mark 90 Aurora laser turrets. All of these weapons have their own integrated fire control
These are radar
systems.
commands.
So
Okay.
once they have been cued to an area by the ship's radar, they can lock their own targets and develop their own firing solution.
Missile detected.
If you want to take a more hands-on approach, you can manually prioritize targets with the Z key or by using the PD button on the action menu.
That seems like something.
Generally,
not
this
to
isn't
do.
necessary, as the PD controller automatically prioritizes threats by size, distance, speed, and whether they're actually coming towards the ship or not. The ship will always defend itself before defending others.
Okay. Looks like we have 2 different types. Okay, we decoyed half the missiles away, but we got a command. Oh, that one got it. Nope, missed.
Great job! Now get us back.
On it.
Alright, we have one more type of hard kill to consider. Interceptor missiles.
Ah,
These are missiles specifically designed to intercept and destroy incoming missiles. They are the most flexible form of PD, but also the most limited in quantity.
Alright.
This ship is carrying 40 SGM-112 Ripostes, a command-guided interceptor missile. Let's go through the options available by clicking the PD missile button and expanding the menu. The first option is the firing mode. By default, this is set to Doctrine, meaning that all missiles will be fired at all threats that it was designed for.
Okay.
By flipping it over to All, we can disregard those settings and the missile will be used against all threats. On the other hand, Manual will only fire at targets you have prioritized.
Alright. So I can
Next
either
is firing policy,
have it fire
which governs the
at
number of
what
salvos
it
we'll
was
fire at
designed
each
for,
threat. The next salvo will only be fired after
everything,
the
or
previous one
manual.
misses. Following that is salvo size, which determines the number of missiles in each of the salvos from above. Setting this to Doctrine will refer to the missile type's default setting, usually 1 missile. And finally, last salvo will fire another salvo at the threat at the last possible moment, even if the previous salvos have not arrived.
Okay.
I know that was a lot, but managing these settings will help you economize your defensive missiles. They always go faster than you think they will.
Yeah, put that no because
Interceptor missiles excel at defeating threats at a much longer range than most other point defenses are capable of. That's extremely important when it comes to the most dangerous types of missiles we'll talk about next. Hybrids.
Okay, this is what was put in the update, I believe.
Hybrid missiles are advanced, multi-stage missiles which can wreak havoc on a fleet if not countered during their cruise stage. Once they initiate their terminal sprint, a laser is about the only thing that can stop them.
Okay.
Imagine trying to shoot down a corkscrewing telephone pole, traveling at nearly 1 kilometer per second. And that's what facing a hybrid missile is like. Some of these missiles also carry penetration aids, such as self-screening radar jammers and decoy launchers.
Oh, okay. I actually knew
Fortunately,
about the
you don't
decoy
actually have to
launchers.
imagine, because I've got 4 of them on the way.
Oh, lovely.
If you want to
Thank
make any changes to your PD missile doctrine, better do it now.
I'm actually going to change my heading.
Understood.
Face that threat.
Aye aye, full burn. Aye aye. Countermeasures. Solution locked in. Tracking missile.
There we go. These are command missiles again. Actually, I'm gonna put that as yes for now. Close. Clear that. Close. Uh-oh. It's angry.
Orders.
There, the decoys. But it looks like they missed. Close. Development console is angry at me.
Phew. Wasn't that crazy? You can usually expect the enemy to reserve these kinds of missiles for killing capital ships, due to their destructive power, cost, and limited number.
I apparently cannot do anything.
The best way to
now.
defend against them is with proper positioning of screening escorts, which can enable early detection so you can get your defensive missiles out there and engage them during their vulnerable cruise stage.
Carousel's moving again.
Course laid in.
There we go.
Well, Commander, that about covers it for
That
the
looks like
absolute
we're done.
basics of
I'm
ASMD.
not sure why the development console just
Good
freaked
luck
out
out
there
there.
at the end, but
Hazel out.
not a big deal. Really in depth, I feel like that's another one that I need to run like 2 or 3 times just to see. Let's finally close this. And in any case, that's the last of the tutorials. Thank you for going on this little adventure with me. I'm certain that it was not entertaining so much as hopefully an interesting look at how a player who isn't familiar with the tutorial at all engages with the tutorial. And I'm probably going to have another video in the future that looks at like what my thoughts were overall and any comments I have. I know that there are a couple that I have, but I want to make sure that I'm presenting them correct because, as I said at the very beginning in the introduction, I'm not a game developer, so it's kind of silly to assume that I know what goes into developing a tutorial like this, and I want to make sure that I keep that in mind when I'm giving my feedback. In any case, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.